All right, if it's okay, I'm gonna get started now, okay? So I'm going to share my screen. I can find my...
While Corey's doing that, how many of you have accessed the application yet? Logged in? Okay, good.
Students asked to see my real hair with their reaction.
Okay, because everybody see the homepage?
Looks good.
Okay, great, thanks. So this is the homepage. This is the first page that you will be seeing once you log in. For all those of you who have not accessed the system yet, you will see these little buttons on most pages of the MIS. This is, just to help. So there's usually videos or, helpful hints to help the users and the supervisors to navigate the pages. This is a link to our blog, which I'm just going to click on quickly. And you can see that there is information regarding a Healthy Families discussion group, which we hold monthly. You can access the link to the meeting right here. We encourage you to join. This is an opportunity for all of our users to get together to ask questions of our IT team and to ask questions about the MIS. We do not address policy, but we will address any MIS issues that you might be having, okay? So this is the homepage. You can access this homepage at any time by clicking on this icon. And when you log in, you will see this little box appearing, news and reminders. It just, every week, the programmers are making fixes and updates to the MIS, and they will post any and all fixes right here. You can hide this right here by clicking on that button, and then if you want to see it again, just click here. If you click on this all news button, it will give you all the news from the beginning of the MIS time. So if you want to go back, if you want to go back and look at all the work our wonderful programmers have done, feel free. This is the search cases, and I'm just going to go through the toolbar. We're going to spend the most time in reports and settings because it's really important for program managers and supervisors to understand especially what goes on in the settings tab. But this is how you would search a case, and you can search it by this demographic information, the PC1 ID, the name, date of birth. You can search by worker. So if you have a supervision coming up, or if you just want to take a look at somebody's caseload, you can just click on a name, hit the search button, and that entire caseload will show up. Okay. You can also search by, well, I guess, as a supervisor, if you're a supervisor who holds a caseload, which many of our supervisors do, you can search by your name and get your own caseload. This is the referrals tab, and we went through this with the users in detail. There is a video that takes you through the navigation of the referral forms, all three sections. So the sections are referrals waiting for screen, active referrals, and completed referrals. Just an FYI that the completed referrals contains a complete list of those referrals that have moved forward and those referrals that have a negative outcome. Okay, so you will have a complete list of those. And again, I recommend, just take a look at the video. Here's the report catalog. Come on. Again, we have this little help button, and this video will help you navigate the report catalog. So if you forget any information, or like I said, this is a brief overview, so that will give you more of a detailed overview of the report catalog. So you can filter the reports in many, many ways. I just want to address down here, we're showing 15 of 146 reports that we have available. This number is always changing based on the best practice standards from HFA. Any report that specifically addresses and satisfies the best practice standards will have the best practice standard code right to the left of the report name, okay? As I said, you can filter by list, by all these categories: list, ticklers, analysis, quarterlies, accreditation. This is very, very helpful for programs that are going through accreditation process. You have all of the reports that you will need to hopefully satisfy the peer reviewers' requests. And here's a training reports. Retired reports, these are reports that are no longer used for the accreditation process, but we keep them on hand just because some of the older programs that we have in other states just like to take a look at them. You can also sort by reports recently that you have recently run or that your program has recently run, and reports that you frequently run and reports that are frequently run by everybody in the program. Does anybody have any questions about the report catalog right now? Anybody who's been using the system and is having some issues like navigating the report catalog? I just want to, like, part two to that question is, if you have a specific report question about specific cases, please submit a ticket and we'll handle it there. This is just about navigating the MIS. Does anybody have any questions or comments on it?
With me, it's working in it and doing it, and then I see, like right now, I don't have any because I haven't done it yet. So I mean, I don't have any questions because I haven't really gotten to that point yet.
Okay, well, you know, as I said earlier, we are always available through the ticketing system, and also it may help when you view the videos, okay? Let's see. So this on the toolbar, this is your account. If you have several roles within the MIS, you can change your role. Like if you have if you're a supervisor that is working between different programs within your state, you would have two different logins for those roles. Well, the same login, but you would have two different programs that you could log into. And then in that case, you would click here, and you can also log out right here. This is the settings tab. This is what you will see with your supervisor permission role within the MIS. It is the highest level of permission that we give. And so you have access to everything in the MIS. You can enter trainings, you can enter supervisions, you can set your forms up for form review, things like that. So I'm just going to go through the different columns, and we can address that. So this is program management. This you can enter or edit like birthing facilities that you have entered into the MIS. If you want to enter a new facility, you click this button and enter all of your information, whether it's active or not. And then we'll say yes, and then I'm going to submit. And now that birthing facility is available for your staff to choose to enter into one of their cases. Case filters. So there are videos for this. And I'm not sure why they're not showing up here. Under help and docs, actually, I'm just gonna show you, we have a number of instructional videos. There are 2 case filter videos here. There's using case filters and creating case filters. Only people with a supervisor access to the MIS can create case filters. This is a very, very handy tool for programs to use, and I highly recommend you viewing these videos, especially the creating case filters, and asking your team to view the using case filters. Again, it's very, very handy. Say if your funders want to take a look at all the cases that have Medicaid, you can set up a case filter for that. If a funder wants to set up a case filter for all participants under the age of 20, you can set up a case filter for that. So instead of, this is the reason for the instructional video. So this overview can give you a look at the screens, but these videos are very detailed for use of navigating the MIS. Ooh. So case filters, medical providers, just like the birthing facilities, you can enter and edit the information for a provider that is used. So for instance, if I want to edit this particular provider, say I want to enter a first name, and I can submit, and now, hopefully, if I use the search button, I can see that particular doctor has been edited, and now it's we can see the first name. And medical facilities is the same. This is just an opportunity for you guys to add or edit medical facilities, birthing facilities, medical providers. Even service referral agencies can be added and edited here. I am just about finished with a video that will go through like merging these or helping to manage these birthing facilities, service referrals, medical facilities. And the way you manage them is clicking on this duplicate remover. You can take a look at all of the source referral names, and if you need to, you can move them, but that's for another video. Let's go to the supervision column. So this is accepting transfer cases. So you guys have a statewide program. So you could have a situation where a family moves from one program to another program, okay? So this is where you would accept any cases that are transferred from one program to another. It is actually, they are transferred through the case in the discharge form. And again, we recommend that home visitors meet with transferred families. There is a video too about doing transfers cases, and I believe it is on the discharge form. There's a list of reasons for discharge. Chris, why isn't 30? Oh, you know why? Because this is not a multiple site.
Yeah, so this is a single site model and it doesn't allow transfers because you're in single site.
Yeah, sorry.
Correct.
But there is a code that you would use to transfer a case from one South Carolina program to another South Carolina program. And as I said, there are videos regarding this. Deleting a duplicate screen. On the off occasion that your staff completes a duplicate screen, you can delete the screen here by typing in the PC1 ID. Only supervisors can do this, and really honestly be very, very careful, because once it's deleted, chances are we can't retrieve it. So these two things right here are very important. The form review dashboard and the form review options. I'm going to go to the form review options first. This is where you set up all the forms within your program for review and approval by supervisor. Okay, so we can see here that the home visiting screen was the review start date is 1/1/15. Okay, and then there's an end date of 12/31/22. So that means only screen forms within those two dates, not the date that it was entered, but the date that it took place, will be able to be reviewed and approved. So if I want to edit those dates and just remove this end date, why isn't it removing? Okay, so now any home visiting screen that has been entered, or I'm sorry, that has taken place 1/1/15 through like today, will be set for approval and review. Okay. You can search. There's a list of the forms. You can sort them in alphabetical order. You can sort by form review, start date, and end date, if there is one. You'll see that the audit C, the father figure, group the ID contact form and referral form have not been set up for review and approval. We recommend highly that these two forms are set up. So I'm just going to do that now. This is a test system, so there's no worries. And so we can see that. So once you set up your forms for review and approval, you can go to the form review dashboard. And these are all the forms that will need to be reviewed and approved by a supervisor. Again, just the same as this toolbar, there are a lot of ways to filter these forms. You can filter them by the name of the form. You can click on a search box. You can, the form name can be alphabetized and reordered. You can search by PC1 ID, which, to be honest with you, is a really, really good way to search, especially if you're going to be reviewing them with your staff during supervisions. You can search by PC1 ID if that's the PC1 ID that you're reviewing in depth with your worker, or you can search you can alphabetize your worker names, and you can run all of the forms that need to be reviewed and approved for that supervisor. And then, of course, you can filter and sort by supervisor too. You can also use this search box to just pull up, just search by Natasha. And so we can see that Natasha is a supervisor. So we can sort, we will filter by her name for supervisor and current worker. Okay, so if Natasha is going to be doing all of her supervisions on a Monday, then she can sort through all of these forms that she will need to review and approve during or prior to the supervision. Okay. And again, there are a lot of notes here for the supervisor, the supervisor form review page. Does anybody have any questions about that right now? I know that's a biggie. So, and I am anticipating and welcoming tickets and questions regarding this when you guys do get started, because it is a biggie. This option, this partial supervision review, this means that a supervision form was started but not completed. Generally, supervisors who supervise supervisors or program managers who are doing the supervisions of supervisors will want to take a look here just to make sure that all the supervisions are complete. Also, if I'm a supervisor and I've had like a full caseload and things, I'll want to take a look at this just to make sure that I have completed and finalized all of my supervisions. And finally, down here, program documents. This is an opportunity for you guys. And again, all of these options that I'm going through, the supervisors and program managers, people with a supervisor permission to the MIS are the only people who can upload the program documents. So this is a good place for you guys if you have a program specific policy guide and you want your workers to be able to see that program, that policy guide. This is an opportunity for you to put that. I would put any program document that you want your staff to be able to view at just at their fingertips. This is where you would put that information. And then your staff can go to this help and docs and see any program documents that have been uploaded for your program, okay? But again, only people with supervisor access can upload the document, but anybody can see the document. This is the data entry column, batch case reassignment. So if a worker is being terminated either temporarily or permanently, say they're going out on medical leave and you want to make sure that their worker form is terminated for that time so they're not responsible for home visits and trainings and observations and supervisions, then you want to put that termination date. However, termination dates cannot be completed if they still have cases assigned to them. And this is for a very good reason. We'd never want a family to miss home visits or miss opportunities. So you'll want to reassign these cases to your other workers, okay? So that worker form can be terminated. So in order to do this, you'll click on the worker that's going to be terminated and then take a look at this person has 3 cases assigned to him right now. You can either, you can assign it this way by just choosing different names, or you could assign it to the same person. And that you can also click this assign all to make sure that Tiffany gets all of Daniel's cases. And then you reassign the cases this way. And it will ask you, a lot of our forms have this kind of like, just, hey, are you sure you want to do this? And then I'm just going to say yes. And now Daniel has no cases assigned to him. CQI plan is, for your continuous quality, information, you might want to put a CQI plan in for your staff. Like say, you want to make sure that for any reason that you want to make sure that home visit logs are done on time, or whatever you feel that your program has opportunity for improvement, that's what you would put in here. And I believe that's an HFA requirement now, Chris, right? The CQI?
Yes, I think it is now. Yep.
Yeah. Group forms. We haven't really done anything with the group forms, right?
No, group forms have been pretty much steady for a couple of years now.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, if you do have, like a group meeting or whatever, and you want to make sure that you're putting it in the MIS, this is where you would do that. Program information form. This is also a really important form. This is where all of your program demographic information gets entered. So the program phone number, the program manager name, the agency director, all of that information is entered right here. And on this next tab, the contract information, this is also very important, specifically for the contract dates, because the contract start and end dates are connected to the reporting. So I'm going to go back to reports just for a minute. And I'm just going to so you'll see here that these start and end dates are 6/1/24 through 8/31/24. That's not a good one. Hold on. Okay. All right. I don't know, Chris. Okay. So there, the start and end dates on the reports are, and they're connected to these program dates. So if the program contract dates are not updated yearly, then you're not going to get, the default dates on the reports are not going to fall into place accurately.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have a question about that.
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking at, like funder contracts? Are we looking at Healthy Families contracts? What contracts are we looking at there?
The contract information is really just for reports that are usually run at the state level. So it's not that important unless state people are running reports to make sure that you're meeting your contractual requirements, like number of clients you're supposed to have, maybe seen or have in your system during a certain period of time. And so I don't know about how South Carolina works, but some of the other states are pretty picky to make sure that, I don't know if your contracts are with the state or how your contracts work, but if they are with the state admins sometimes like to log in there and just check out to make sure that people are meeting their contractual requirements.
So to answer that question, it would be like the program year for you all. So it would be
Yeah.
our October through September.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Supervision form, this is where you would enter your weekly supervisions, and there is a very detailed video that will take you through how to enter your supervisions. And let's see, the training form and the training exemption forms, these are pretty self-explanatory, and if you have questions on them, please just send us a ticket. I'm rushing through these two things because this worker form is really important. So the worker form is where you're going to enter anybody in your program that is supervising staff or is managing a caseload. There are people that have MIS access that will not be in this, like say a funder or, somebody at the state level, like, that would just need to review the reports and review that, to Chris's point, that, the people are staying in line with the Healthy Families guidelines and the state guidelines, but they're not managing a caseload and they are not directly supervising anybody. So they wouldn't have a worker form. Again, this is only for people who are managing caseloads or supervising staff. And again, there is two detailed videos regarding the worker form. I highly recommend you guys as supervisors, as program managers, to take a look at this, to look at it now and to look at it when you're entering your first worker forms, okay? So I'm just going to click the edit button so we can take a look at what the worker record looks like, all right? So you'll see the worker name up here. This is the demographic information for the worker. The worker's first and last name is here. The number 2 and number 3 are optional. You don't have to put their personal information in here unless your program, you as the supervisor, want it. The supervisor name is very important. because this supervisor name is going to be directly connected to the supervision form and to the reports. So when you're searching a report by supervisor, your people that you are supervising will come up if the supervisor name is entered here. The scheduled supervision day is also important, and this is because of the supervision report. So the supervision report, you have a solid 7 days to get that supervision in before it's ticked as not meeting. You don't have to have your supervisions on a Monday, but I recommend that everybody's supervision in this form is set to Monday, because then you're going to have Monday through Friday to get that supervision in. So that means that if, say, Stacy is my supervisor, and my regular day that I meet with her is on Wednesday, but I have Wednesday through Friday off for vacation. Okay. If this day is scheduled for a Wednesday, then I have through Wednesday to the following Tuesday to get that supervision done. But if it's set to Monday and Stacy has time on that like previous Monday or Tuesday before I go on vacation, then I can get my supervision then, and it's going to meet the credentials as set by HFA and programmed into that report. Okay, so again, you don't have to hold your supervision on a Monday, but I recommend that everybody on your team, the scheduled supervision day on this worker form is set for Monday. It's just easier to manage that way. You don't have to like, you know, do the math kind of. So this is the username, all right? And anybody who has an MIS account, your username is going to show up here. Now, very important, if your username is already assigned to a worker form, it will not show here. So for instance, Chris Pappas has an MIS account, but his name is not showing here because he's linked to another account, okay? And I just want to go back to, here we go. So he's not showing because he's already linked to another account. He's linked to Sharon. So I'm just going to put myself in here. And then I'm just going to submit. Oh, okay. So here's a very handy thing within the MAS, within every single form. I'm kind of glad this happened, because if you're missing required information within any form, you're going to get this little validation message that's going to tell you, hey, you missed some fields. And so I just have to put my hours per week in. And I'm going to submit. So now it's going to tell me that, you know, if I am Zachary Apple, this worker form has been successfully edited. All right. Now this is going to go back to the dashboard. Zachary doesn't have any information, but because that's linked to a username, this is really important for the dashboard. If I'm a supervisor within the MIS, my supervisor dashboard is going to show up there. And also if I'm handling a caseload, all of my case information is going to show right up on that dashboard. I'm going to try another. Just to see if I can find.
A slight update to what Corey said. Your dropdown may appear with the different username, but if it's selected, you'll get a message saying the username's already been linked to a different person, and then please unlink first. So if you do ever see the user ID still in there, you'll notice that you'll get a message if that does appear, saying you can't do it.
Gosh, I keep missing that. All right, now. Okay, this is what a dashboard looks like. Because I put my user account into somebody who has supervisor access and a caseload. So you can see how important it is to link that username up to that worker record. And so I can see my supervisor dashboard, my staff, I can see any forms that need to be reviewed. And I can see like my workers and any future scheduled home visits are here. So it's really, 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 really important to link that username in that worker form. Okay, any questions about that?
I have a question.
Sure.
Just for clarity, so each worker will have their own username that has to be linked to their actual account. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Each user will have a worker record that will be linked to their MIS account. Those two things are easily confused. The MIS account is separate from the worker record. And as I said before, you can have an MIS account, but not need a worker record. But anybody who is handling a caseload or supervising staff members will have to have that worker record.
Okay.
And the worker record should be linked to the user account.
Okay, which is their own user account.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The other thing that I want to take to show you is that as a supervisor, and you can see your staff here, you can click this impersonate button, and then you can see Sharon's, if I'm Sharon's supervisor, I can take a look at her dashboard. So I can see if she's got scheduled visits, you know, oh my gosh, she's 2,000 days overdue for this, for her scheduled visits. So I can take a look at this. And this is really, really a useful tool before you're going to go head into your supervision with your staff member. And you can just take a look at what she's seeing. So you can write notes to yourself and you know, take a look at what she's seeing on her dashboard. And again, I can click this icon to just go back to my own dashboard. Okay. I know this is a lot of information. I get it. But as I said, this is being recorded. And, you know, we can take a look at this, but also we are available through the ticketing system if you have questions, you know, navigating this stuff. Once again, I just want to point out that this is our blog, and we have instructional videos here that are constantly being updated and constantly being added. There is an MIS discussion group that takes place once a month, and here we have videos of past discussion groups. So if you want to take a look at the format and information that we discuss, I highly recommend that. And again, on the homepage of the blog is the date and the Zoom link for the next MIS discussion group. And we recommend you guys, you know, joining us for that. Okay. Now I'm done with my overview, and I want you guys to just bring on all your questions, if you have any.
I did have a question. Can the user see the group forms?
No,
No.
users don't have that in their settings page. The only thing users have in their settings page is the changing their password.
I'm just gonna change myself to a user, and so you can see that. So the settings looks very different for a user. This is all the user will see. That's it. They can change their password, and that's all. That's why, you know, we say that the supervisor permission level within the MIS is the highest level, and you see everything. So I just logged myself in as a supervisor. You can see there's a big difference. And because you guys are going to be sending, this is just the other thing that I want to address. So supervisors and program managers are responsible for sending us new account requests. So if you want your staff to get an MIS account, this is not the worker record again, this is the MIS account. This video right here will help you. Watch this video. It will take you through the login screen. It will let you know what information that we need to create an MIS account.
And who has to send it? Because people can't send in their own request to access.
Right. You
It's a
can't send in
secure
your
system.
own, and a user can't send in another user's request. You have to be a supervisor or a program manager. Also, this little blurb right here will help explain the difference between an MIS user account and the MIS worker record. Because that is, we get questions, we get tickets about this for people who have been using the MIS for years, and because it's, there's confusion there. So hopefully this will help.
I have another question. So in February, we have a Healthy Families report that is due every year for the previous year.
HFAST, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we switch now, we are only going to transfer over our active families. So we're not going to transfer over all of our data because that's just a lot of work. I don't know how that would work with filling out the HFAST report come February. Do y'all have any thoughts on that?
So we do have an HFAST report that pulls data in, but
obviously,
Go ahead.
only people that are in the system. But yeah, if you get your clients in before the February report's due, then you just run this report, and it'll fill out HFAST for you.
But we wouldn't be entering all of our clients from 2024. We'd be only entering the active ones if we switch before January 1st. So then we would have duplicate data in our current system that we're using. And we would only have half the data in the new system. So I'm trying to figure out how we would compile that information for the HFAST report.
So you'd probably have to use both sources, Summer.
Yeah, you're going to have to kind of manually figure that out, unless you wanted to add people who were terminated but still in that HFAST time period. Like, you're only going to put your active clients in. I get that, because there's a lot of work to do. But if you have a list that you can work through of the ones who are going to cross over that threshold of time that were not active now, but were active in that time period, if you wanted to add their data in, then you could run this report for all. Okay.
And then my second question that kind of goes along with that, we're going through accreditation next May. So kind of the same thing, like I'm a little nervous with switching right now because I don't want that to mess up our accreditation and running those reports, but we are antsy to switch because we're very excited about this system. So any thoughts on how to handle that?
I would do, I know I've done accreditation, and you're going to have to provide them with a lot of data. But the accreditation goes back 3 years. And for workers, it can go back even a little bit further, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem putting in workers. It's just a few worker records. Accreditation is going to be a little bit of a pain. I'm not going to argue that, unless you get all your data in, obviously, but that's not going to happen. So
yeah, 3 years of data is going to be a lot. I would say that for accreditation, the case information is going to be frustrating for you, Summer, and I apologize for that, because you're probably going to have to deal with 2 different systems. However, because one of our programs is going through accreditation right now, and so we're answering a lot of questions about that, they're very concerned about trainings, that they're getting the HFA trainings. So I would make sure that the worker records are set, and make sure that you're not putting, Chris made this point yesterday, and I'm sorry, Chris, I didn't make it today. When you're entering your worker record, use their real start date and not the date that you're starting to use this system. And then when you're entering your trainings, just make sure that those trainings and training codes are accurate, like when they had the training, okay, the date that they had the training, and use the correct codes. And then you can use these training reports to give them the training information that they're looking for. Because I know, like, just because I'm going through it right now with one of our other sites, and I'm helping them. The peer reviewers are really looking for trainings. So just make sure that those trainings are entered accurately and completely. And
Summer, I
that,
have one other idea. I'm not sure if they'll do it for you or not. Is there any way they can postpone your accreditation for a couple of years to until you get your data in your system?
Yes. And I had the same question because my accreditation is actually in December.
Well, oof, for December they might not want to postpone, obviously, because they probably already have someone lined up.
Mhm.
Um, I'd contact HFA and just say, and because I know this is another issue too with I know HFA is actually going, not HFA, I'm sorry. I know there's a couple other states that are using a system called Penelope, and Penelope is going away, and they're all frantically looking for other ways of getting their data in. And I don't know what they're going to do when it goes away and when they do switchovers. And some of these states are large; they might have like 20 or 30 or 40 programs. So I'd contact HFA and just say you're in the middle of converting from one system to another, but your accreditation is coming up. Is there a way of either postponing, or do they have a solution for the peer reviewers to see the data? Because this could be confusing from two different systems or two different places. They're usually pretty responsible around that kind of stuff. So maybe postponing might be a possibility.
Thank you, Chris.
Good luck. Oh, one thing you should always be aware of, though, just to make you feel better about accreditation, no program in HFA's history has ever lost accreditation. That's a fact. They might be into like a thing where they expect more information later, or they want to prove it a little bit later, but no one's ever lost their accreditation.
right. They might make you go, like, jump through a couple hoops, but their ultimate goal is to make sure that they don't lose sites. So
I feel like I'm dominating the conversation, but I do have one more question.
hey, bring them on. That's what we're here for.
So we had updated our home visit log to reflect some questions that the Children's Trust or McVie is requiring. And I think Stacy had sent Chris a copy of this. I didn't know if it's an option to have it updated on here.
Is this the EDS form?
No. It's part of the home visit log. I know what you're talking about, Summer. I didn't look at that too carefully because the real request was for the rat, which we'll be putting on by tomorrow. You should see the rat form available to you. But I didn't take a too close a look at the home visit log. So what is it you're looking for on the home visit log?
So it would fall under the McVie only questions, or that tab. We have to ask, do you have any concerns regarding your child's development? And then we have to ask, have they been to the ER? So we added it to the home visit log so that it was easy for the home visitors to remember to ask that question. So I didn't know if there's a way to get that added in here.
Well, we do have an ER visit for children, and I think that's part of where our evaluators do their, they put the numbers together for McVie.
Uh-huh.
But what was the second question?
Do you have any concerns regarding your child's development?
I thought that's in the home visit log already. Could you? I'll try to look into.
Cheers and
Let me do a quick check in there. Concerns.
I mean, we do have this, like wanted more information and additional comments, I guess it could be here, notes or ideas regarding next visit, family goal plan, program activities.
There is, Corey, go to the parent-child interaction under child development activities of home
Right.
visitor. Ask parent about concerns, their child's development behavior.
Okay, I
And
can
then,
just,
under the, oh gosh, no target. Under the target child's medical form, there is an opportunity for you to, enter ER visits.
okay,
Can you find another case that might have a
Yeah,
child?
I'm
Just type the
trying.
letter A. Just type the letter A. Oh, or do that.
I thought if I got a level 1 case, it would be, good.
Get another level one. There we go.
Yay, here we go. Okay, so here we have ER and baby visits. Well, non-well baby visits, we can, we put right here. I don't know if that would be a help.
I'm assuming there's a way to like run a report because we have to report these numbers into every month.
Yeah, we
If
don't
there's
have a lot of the problem right now is we don't have a lot of the McV reports. We are slowly adding them. In fact, tomorrow, if you look at the news, McV report number 4 is being added. But not all the McV reports are in the system. When's your McV reporting due?
the 15th of every month.
We can talk to you. We have of every month.
Yes.
Oh, I can talk to our director. We have evaluators who run these reports. They have their scripts and all their SPSS and all those kinds of things like that. And since the databases are the same, I'll see what we can do. I don't know if there may or may not be a small fee associated with that or how complicated it is for a researcher to do that. But I do know that we have a team of researchers who live on this database, don't live on the application. They just work in the data. So they have all those scripts written. I don't know what modifications would be needed or if we might, what's the word for it? McV reporting is vague at times, so people have to make their own decisions how things get brought in and but you could just accept everything we've done and just, I guess, take the scripts and see if they run. If
Would
they're
it be
okay with it.
helpful,
I don't see why they
Chris,
wouldn't
would it
be.
be helpful for us to, for me to share with you what our evaluation or how our evaluation team is asking the McV questions from the sites to share that with you to see if it's similar to what your people.
I'm not a McV person. I don't know how much that
Mhm.
would time and effort that would take for a researcher to do that. But like I said, we have, and if we ever added McV reports, you'd kind of be accepting our
Mhm,
method of
mhm.
design, of figuring it out ourselves. But I will, how many McV programs in South Carolina?
All of our programs,
All the programs are?
pretty
Oh,
much
well,
all
that's
of the
good.
programs.
It's going to be
Mhm,
probably easier to do it for all than for one and then send it.
mhm,
And so let me contact my director and ask her about the idea of someone running that because all they have to do, is really change a few things and you know hit your database. Oh, of course the data has to be in there though, and summer you have to do this
mhm.
every month. That's gonna be again till all the data's in. That's gonna be a bit of a pain, but I don't know when we would want to start this, Stacy. Obviously, because there's no data really in the system right now except for
Right. So the sites now, we've been having some internal conversations with the sites for them to be, the expectation is for them to be fully using the database January the 1st. And so that's why some of the questions are coming up, like with accreditation, HVAC and all of that. So they're going to begin the process of using the system, entering in their active families, all of that good stuff. Most, if not all, we have one site, maybe two, who is using spreadsheets as well. So they're going to kind of do a parallel process to kind of just make sure that they're not losing any data. So Summer, to you or to everyone, if we can't get this turned on like immediately, January 1st, does that sound reasonable? That you will kind of use the same mechanism that you're currently using to collect that data and to share it with, as you're currently doing it. If we kind of earmark like January 1st, if we can get the process going, get it embedded. Sound good? Sounds good to everyone. I can
I'll
only
get back
see
to you
Summer
afterwards,
shaking
Stacy.
her head.
Yeah, I'll
Mhm.
get back to you after Stacy too, after I
Okay.
talk. It should be no later than end of the day tomorrow.
Okay. Sounds good.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I was wondering, so we can go ahead and go into our database now and start entering like staff and families.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you have an MIS permission level, then absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
what do you think, Stacy? I'm sorry, probably shouldn't have answered that question.
No. Absolutely. Absolutely. The sooner we can get the site set up, individually set up, the sooner that we can get staff in the database to get those questions answers, getting them more comfortable will make it easier as we kind of move forward in that process. And again, as Chris and Corey has shared, we're here to support you through that process because it's new all the way around.
Mhm.
Again, for some sites, they're not using a database at all. So it's really brand new. So we're going to be doing a lot of supporting in that space with it. But again, we do encourage you all to start using the database.
One thing that I want to point out right now is we've talked a lot about the ticketing system. Under Help and Docs, here's technical support, and you just click here to submit a ticket. You enter your information, the subject that you would like to, address, and the description of your issue. Please try to be as detailed as possible. If it's regarding a report, put the report name. If it's regarding a form that you're having a problem with, write the form name. If it's regarding a case, please include the case number. But also, these tickets go directly to our team. We have at least 5 people all the time looking at the tickets. Our initial response time I think it averages like 15 minutes. So you're going to hear from us right away. All right. Just want to make sure that you guys know how to reach us.
And
And
Summer, just before I have my conversation with my director, how many McV reports are there? I'm just trying to think in my head how long it would take us to maybe get them into the system if that's something we had to do by January 1st.
Stacy, and you can help with this, but we have a report that's due the 15th of every month, and those are kind of some of those questions that I asked about. And then we have a quarterly report, but I think all of that information should already be built into the system because it's basically pulling like standard information from healthy families.
Okay, so maybe there's a crosswalk they may have as well. I'll check into that as well.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think more so what Summer's referring to is that behavioral health information and just those two areas, because as Summer shared, the quarterly report, again, is going to really be pulled already from what is already embedded in the database. And I did and am in process going in to look at the quarterly report, to look at the language and make sure it matches the reporting that is currently in this database. So, they won't have an issue with that, but it's more so that behavioral health and those things. And she's embedded that in her home visit so that it's easier to kind of make sure that the site or the team, the home visitors are asking those questions so that she can collect that information and report it out to within our McV database, because there is a separate database to capture all things McV. So it's really just those two questions. Am I correct, Summer?
Yes, that those two questions particularly are not tracked anywhere else. And so that was the easiest way for the visitors to remember to ask those questions and for me to be able to pull that data to report out on the 15th.
okay, so we are at the end of our time, and unless anybody has any other questions, I will end the meeting, and I feel that we got a lot accomplished during this meeting. However, we are always available to you guys, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Oh, before we get off, is there
Oh.
any way that the link could be sent to access this database, if we are able to start putting families and staff in, or is that something we have to wait for Children's Trust to do?
No, it's I'll just put it right into the chat right now.
Okay. I think I only got the link for the test, so I didn't know if there was something different.
Yes, definitely different.
It-
You have a dedicated
Yeah.
Okay.
website and
Mhm.
web and database for South Carolina.
Okay.
And I just
Thank
want to
you.
make sure in your case, Shelley, Tara, did you get an email directly from Chris's team regarding your login? Tara, you didn't?
Who?
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
think so unless I got it today, this morning.
I didn't get
Did you
anything
guys
either.
send us?
Wait, let me just do a
Yeah,
search.
Mhm.
Let me just do a search for Tara.
Mhm.
Can you do a
Well,
search for
so I
Keisha as
did,
well?
I did get an email from Summer. And she requested a bunch of IDs, and I sent her a response, saying
Oh
that she
yeah,
could forward this information over.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, that was for my team specifically.
Right.
So Kelly's
That's
from a
correct.
different site.
Check your spam, because I think our initial stuff went to spam as well, so check your spam.
Okay, thank you.
Stacy, do you know if I would have received a login, or is that something that has to be set up for me?
No, I think let me just go in and look at the original email, because what I did was I shared with Chris and his team the site leads, and if there's, more than one. So like in
Yeah,
Summer's
Shelley.
case, it's
No,
Summer
Shelley.
and
Shelley. I see Corey responded to you on July 22nd, so it was quite some time ago, with the link information. Let me just double check. Is your email snicholson@Carolina Health Centers?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, this ticket's closed. Requested for MIS access. It was given. I can copy it and
Yeah, we can
Can you
send
find
it
one
to
for
her,
me
Chris.
also?
wait. Let me just reply. It's snicholson@carolinahealthcenters.org, right?
Yes.
I'm sending it again from the ticketing system. It's just a
Okay.
copy of what Corey already sent back in July. Just check your email. It should be there in less than a minute.
And make sure that you're checking your spam or your junk mail, because that's
Yes.
where these emails go.
and
I think
so
I
just
found
before
mine.
you find yours, Keisha, Tara,
Yeah, I have mine
Chris,
too.
Will it
Mhm.
work
Yeah,
still?
looking.
it should.
I got it.
You have yours, Tara?
Yes.
Leticia, I see you. Did you come off mute? Or you're good?
I have mine, but my team hasn't got any email. Are they supposed to already have also their,
No,
do
you need
know?
to send
Okay.
us request for which workers you want to have access. And as Corey showed earlier, there's like instructions. You might want to, basically what we need is first name, last name, the email address of that person, what level of user access they want, and that should be it. That usually is all we really need.
Yeah, but make
It has to
sure
come from you.
on your login screen, click this little button, and there's a video like just explaining the different permission levels and how to request your access. So and I'm going to show it to you once more. Yes. And here, right here on the login page, this button will send you to, you can click this link for the video, but it also explains the difference between user account and worker record.
And Keisha, you did say you found your email, correct?
Okay, does anybody have any other questions? Alrighty, so I'm going to end the meeting, and as I said before, I really look forward to working with all of you, and feel free to contact us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.